Okay. Good morning, everyone. I am Eric. My full cyber application, the website's called Cyber Mystics. So unlike other tarot card sites, this site will not give you your fortune. It's primarily to help users to better understand tarot cards, and primarily through journaling. So I'll quickly go through the user stuff. So when you log in, you have your username, a logout button appears. Some of the features are also, you have to be logged in, like notes, daily tarot, you have to be logged in. So just to log out real quickly, you'll see the features have gone away. You log in, you go to sign up. If a user already exists, you'll get a user with that email already exists. So I'll just do test 2. Sign up, and then it refreshes back into login. You could log in. So you'll just log in. So I have a card carousel here with all 78 cards, and go to Daily Tarot. It shuffles it, and some of these cards are also reversed based on just a randomizer. So you could click on any of them. You'll get your card. So this one's reversed. You'll get keywords, questions to ask. You'll get a description. You could input a description, interpretation. So I could just, just test for now. Save. You'll get a modal that says spread notes saved. Close that out. Then I'll show you the notes. So here, use this pagination. So you go to any ones you created. Default is the latest one you created. You'll see a couple of things have been added on, such as delete reading. So I could delete that one, and it just takes me to the most recent one that was created. So yeah, I could just save it and it updates. And then for my APIs, I really felt like I couldn't integrate it very well. So I just added this, ask the Oracle, and it's just a cat picture with a quote. So yeah, this is, I think, Zen Quotes API, and this is the cat API. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my site. Any questions?
Awesome.
I actually have a question. On the card page where it displayed all the cards, is each individual one actually clickable, or when you click anywhere on it, it generates a random? Okay.
Yeah, it's a randomized order, and there's no, yeah, you can't do anything to them. This is their luck. Any other questions?
What was the cat API you used? Does that just pull random pictures of cats?
Yeah, the endpoint, you just do a great request to the URL and you just get a random cat picture.
I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I had a good time with it.
And
Yeah,
what were
any
the
other
models that you used?
Yes, let me pull up here's my code. Models. So here we have a site user, tarot card. So all 78 data entries, cards use this model. And then when a user gets picks a card, it creates a spread, a card and spread. So the idea for card and spread is I could use like a 3-card spread. So you can have 3 cards in a spread. It creates a note for each card. Again, overall note will be tied to a spread if I decide to use like a 3-card spread or other spreads. Any other questions on those?
No, awesome. This looks good. Thank you. Awesome. Who's next? Andrea?
Yep, that
You
should
ready?
be. Is my screen sharing?
Yeah.
Perfect. So for my personal project, I did a web app called the Path of Programming, and the idea behind this was to help aspiring or current software developers kind of plan out their long education. as they pursue software development. So this is what I call the landing page. This quote here is the first of 2 APIs. It pulls just a random quote related to either success or learning or technology or something like kind of related. So if I refresh the page, it'll update the quote. And then, so you enter the website by clicking this button, and you can either log in or register. One thing I didn't do is I didn't account for like an invalid login. So if you enter an invalid login, it like crashes, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to log in like normal. So then it takes you to the homepage and the, oops, that was weird. Okay, so it takes you to the homepage. On the homepage, I have what's called a snapshot. So the snapshot shows kind of current things you're working on. And I'll go into more detail about what each of these plans, tasks, projects means, but current plan is kind of like the thing you're doing right now, like long-term. And then you have daily tasks, which you can kind of keep track of for things you want to do every day. And then you kind of have a project section for any ongoing projects that you're working on. The tasks and projects portion is working correctly. I could not figure out how to get the plan working correctly to show up in the snapshot. So this is actually hard coded in right now because I wanted to make it look right, but it in theory would update with the accurate plan that you're on. So the main feature of this website is what I call my path. It's sort of like a timeline. So this is for like long-term plans that you want to work on. So for example, you're doing a coding bootcamp right now, and then for a couple of weeks after that, you want to focus on interview prep. And then maybe you want to do another thing on the side during that time, and maybe you want to apply for interviews. It's just kind of an example. One thing I couldn't figure out how to get it to do is look proper, like look good for overlaps. Like right now, it looks like you would do interview prep and then, in this case, the Odin project, but it's actually, if you look at the times, it's the same time. So in theory, you would have like one on one side, one on the other, but I couldn't get that to work. So for right now, it's just in line. But you can add a new plan. You can edit a plan, and it populates with the plan information that you're trying to edit, and then you can obviously delete a plan. Next is the My Projects section. So if you're like me, you come up with an idea and you forget it in 2 days. So this is a place to keep track of project ideas. So you can give it a title, a longer description, a status, any technologies that you've already decided you want to use. And then like if you're working with friends or partners or something, you can put them in collaborators. And again, you can edit it and delete it and add a new idea. One thing I'd love to do long-term is if I could find a way to connect, like let's say my friend Corey had an account on this website, then I could find a way to connect his account to this instead of just like listing his name. But I couldn't figure out how to do that yet. Next is to-dos. I broke these up into once, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. So this kind of lists general tasks you want to work on. They're different than plans because plans is sort of like long-term, what are you doing? Whereas this is kind of like, what do you want to do every day? What do you want to do every week? It's very similar code to the project page. So it's edit it, delete it, add a new one. For example, if you decide I want to do like leak code problems weekly instead of daily, you can save it and then it'll re-update to be in the weekly section. And then the last thing is the resources page. This is like if you're looking for additional resources on a certain topic. Right now I only have it set up for books. I'd love to have it set up for like videos or tutorials or that sort of thing. But this connects to the Google Books API. So let's say I want to look for a book on Ruby on Rails. Then I can search it and it'll pull from the Google Books API the top like 5 most related books. Obviously this is a huge block of text and I tried to figure out how to get it to maybe only show like 4 lines and then have these shows like a drop down you'd have to click, but I couldn't get that working for the presentation. So it's just lists the whole thing. But yeah, you just log out and it takes you back to the homepage. So that's my project.
That's awesome. I would use this. Yeah. Anyone have any questions?
How difficult was the book API to hook up?
The first time I did it, it was hard, but I actually had to do it for an interview. I can't go back without logging in. an interview for a job that I was trying to get. So I had already done it, so it wasn't that hard. But the first time I did it for the interview prep, it was pretty rough.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, any more questions? Awesome. Thank you, Andrea. Matt, you're up next.
All right, let's do it. So I hope you guys remember assessment 4 because this is assessment 4 all over again. I really struggled with assessment 4, so I decided to take it kind of easy and just really go back and master everything we did there. And I essentially made a blog application. So right here is both of my APIs. This is a stock image from Pexels. Pexels is just a stock image website. You can go make collections of different kinds of images and stuff. So I have 3 different categories which populate into a drop-up menu: space, mountains, and forest. Each one has 15 different pictures in each collection. And you can refresh the picture from, there we go, from the collection. It pulls it from the API, sticks it in an array, and randomizes which one you get. So here's some space ones if they load. And then mountains. So you can kind of pick your own theme for the home page. And then I use Zen quotes as well. It gets you 50 quotes, stick it in an array, randomizer. And you can have your little motivational quotes on the front. I have a login modal. By the way, I use Chakra UI as a library for this project, and I liked it a lot. So I would recommend checking it out. Oh, let me show you an incorrect one first. I use Chakra UI and I use React hook form, which makes using forms in React really easy, actually. So if you are not signed up, you get that little alert message there. If you are signed up, then it will flip to the logged in section and it'll say, welcome your name. And you can go in, you can see the entries. You can make your entries here. And I wanted to add a little alert to say that it worked and that it was sent in, but I didn't get around to that, so. And over here, you can actually browse the entries. Here's some of the posts that I did just to kind of test it out. The posts come with a delete, a edit, and a comment button. So you can delete posts. I'm not going to delete that one because I want to show you the comments in a second. You can edit the posts. Oh, apparently it doesn't stick around at the top, so something else to consider. And then the comments down here are accordion buttons. So you can click on each one and it'll pop up, and each comment has its own edit and delete functionality. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It was pretty simple. I wanted to add a couple more things to it, but kind of ran out of time. Here are my models really quick. I have a user, an entry, and a comment model. The comment model attaches to both the user and the entry so that it tracks when I'm mapping through the entries. It'll filter through all the comments and only attach the ones that are attached to the entry. And it'll also display who the author of that comment was. Entry, same thing, it attaches to the user. So it'll display who the author was. And yeah, the user class isn't really that interesting.
Awesome.
Any questions?
I think you covered everything for me. Awesome.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Lily, you're up next.
Okay, 1 second. Share. Okay, so my app is a dog social networking app. It's to meet new people and then also make friends for dogs. So you can add a profile, make one for your dogs, see dogs in your current city, and then you should be able to see those profiles and send messages. If there are no dogs in your city, you can see like a random photo of a dog. And I was really sad about this. I could not get this to work, uploading images, so it's gonna be really empty looking. But my two APIs are the noun project and then the dog API. Sorry, I should have done this earlier.
You're good.
Okay. So when you go to the login page, you get the random dog, so you can see that it will change every time. I'm gonna log in. So right now I'm using the default icon, but I could change it. Let's say I want to be a flower. And then it shows what city I'm in. So I can see who's in my area. So right now there's no one in Los Angeles. So I could go back. Let's say I want to, or let's say I moved. And then I go back and I see there's Freaky and Jack. So I could go to her profile. I wanted there to be images, but I couldn't do that. So it gives me more information on her. She's a female German Shepherd, spayed neutered, her personality, what she likes, her birth date. I would also like this to convert to like how many years old or months. But that's for next time. I could send her a message. I could say, hello, Freaky. I'm messaging you again because I think I already have a message to her. Okay, so I can go home. I can also look at my own pet profiles. So you can see him right there. I can also edit. So let's say my dog wasn't neutered. I could edit and say no. And then it's updated to no. I can show you the messages. So I'll go to the other account. And then if I go to her pets, I can now view messages. And then it shows this one's the one that I just added. And that's it.
That's awesome. I hope your dog finds many friends.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Any questions?
How did you send the message to your friend and populate it the way you did?
So for the message, I had a model for that. And then I did, I think pet ID is the person receiving it, and then sent by would be the person sending it. So actually for the messages, it's sending the pet ID. I wanted the name so that it can say like, oh, it's from blah, 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 instead of just like a pet ID, but I couldn't figure out how to do that yet. And then I had a message component. So it just pops up like that.
Awesome.
Awesome, thank you.
Anyone else? Awesome. Thank you, Lily.
Thank you.
Darius, you're up next.
All right. Y'all see the screen?
Mhm.
All right, so I did a movie app called What to Watch. You can sign up, you can log in. Didn't really do too much error handling. It just won't do anything if you input the wrong like user password or anything. So inputs, if I log in. This is like movies. I'm using two APIs, the watch mode API and OMDB API. Had to use two because this one had yeah, I only had 1,000 per month, and I'm at 927 right now. And so the difficulties I had was like like limiting myself how much I wanted to make calls to that. So what I did was I made calls to the OMDB, and so I would get this information from there because this one had 100,000 requests per day. So that one just made more sense to use. So I used that one to bring up this information, and then to get more details, offered by watch mode, you just click this and you can watch a trailer. It takes you to a trailer of it. Or these are all the sources where you can go watch it at. And then you can also add to your favorites. So if I just add a couple to my favorites, I can go here to favorites. They'll be all here. And then I can, remove from favorites. Then I can see individual movies that I have stored on my platform. And the different TV shows. And then for count, I just displayed name. This is my little cousin's name. And then for search, I had it using the watch mode API. And it can do autocomplete. So if I typed in super, it would find movies and TV shows with like the word super in it. And then I can also click on that, find details, and find the trailer and the different sources, the word to watch. Also, since this is the main purpose of this is to generate a movie of what to watch or a show to what to watch. So I have this here. You can put in like genres, and it's gonna spit out all movies and TV shows with those genres. And then I had a randomizer, like use a random number to decide which one to click. So do that. And then you click on it, see the plot, get more details, watch the trailer. And that is it. And then go to account and you can log out of it from mine. Yeah.
Awesome. I think I missed it, but you're able to add to favorites, you said, or no?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I missed that part. My bad. But yeah, it looks super super clean, like Jaden said. I like it.
You want me show adding two favorites?
No, it's okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Any more questions? Okay.
All right. Thank you. Nicholas, you are next. Nicholas Kinman, yeah.
Screen. Can you see that all right?
Mhm.
Okay, so welcome to Idle Me. This is a site where you can kind of track recommendations. My initial idea was whenever you tell somebody that you watch something or that you like a specific thing, or especially in the military when you travel to somewhere new, people are always like, you got to do this, or you got to try this, or you got to watch this. So I wanted to add restaurants, movies, and anime initially, but my restaurant API didn't work, so I had to try and swap around. So you can sign up. We'll sign up real quick. And CP at cp.com and password CP. And then it has you sign in. And then it'll take you. Well, if it will go, why is that not working? No, I have a bug. that one works. I don't know why the other one didn't work. Hold on, let me look real quick. Anyway, so once you have logged in, you can search movies or you can search anime. So let's say I want to search for Batman. It'll pop up all the movies. This is from the movie DB. And so you can click and it'll pop up a modal and it'll show you more information about the film. And then you can add it to your list. You can go through and add any to your list. And then you can do the same thing for anime. And I use an API called Gcon for this. And it does the same functionality. So you can see more about the anime, or you can just add it to a list. I tried to attach to Spotify and it lets you like log in, but at that point I got an error. So I ran out of time, so I didn't finish that one. But then you can go to your lists and they'll populate and just show you what you've added. And then you can just click the trash can to delete them or click the check mark to mark them as complete. And that's it.
That's awesome.
Anybody have any questions?
Does that mean both your check mark and your trash can are doing a delete operation? Is there a way to save like completed shows?
So that was one of my stretch goals, was to add a history. I wanted to add a history that just showed what things you had viewed that year, but I didn't get around to it. Unfortunately, there were a lot of things that I did wrong in this project. I didn't style a single thing until the very end, and it caused a large amount of issues. I'll never do that again. So yeah, I just need more time. So I definitely want to redo everything that I did here.
Still looks super good though, man.
Thanks.
Yeah. And I love the color theme too. Awesome. Thank you so much. Zach, you're next.
All right, we see in my screen.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is my app called Nunch, which is what my daughter calls any meal, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. She's just screaming Nunch. So here's a login page. This uses MD Bootstrap. Spencer is the one that pointed me on to MD Bootstrap, and there's like some really good looking templates for the login stuff utilizing kind of tabs. So we'll get logged in here. Here's kind of the landing page with a little description about the app. I think I would like to take this a little further and give like instructions on how to use it. But here is the Spoonacular API. And this uses styled components, and this is actually Splide is what this little slide thing is. So you can click on any of these and it'll take you to, ooh, those look good. It'll take you to the website for this. So you can see the recipe, kind of take a look at it, see if it's something that you're interested in. I've got some already queued up here because these are like go-to recipes. So we'll get into the cookbooks portion. So here is kind of the main function of the app. So you've got all your different cookbooks that you can add or delete the cookbooks. Let's see, we'll add one called test. And you'll see it comes up. You can add your sections. And the recipes, they kind of stay stale. So that's something I'm working through. But so back to cookbook one, you've got your breakfast, we've got sides, there's no recipes here. So let's see, for the sides, we've got brown butter mashed potatoes and cranberry sauce that we want to add. So this is the Zestful API. So I can just grab the URL for whatever recipe that I want, paste it in here. And after a second, it's going to parse through after all that info and generate this nice squished up image of mashed potatoes with your description, your ingredients, total time, directions, and you can change these as much as you want to. Let's see, we'll change the title to mashed taters. And there we go. And then we can save the recipe. So we'll see that's in sides now, and we can come through and see how to cook it. We can delete this. We can, we'll make a section and delete that to test. And we'll just delete this. So there we go. The other page, so that's kind of like the main functionality of the cookbook part of it. Here is another, this is basically the same code. I wanted to add like a search feature that you could use, but right now this is basically just grabbing like one of the endpoints from the API. Spoonacular is just like popular. So this is just going to give us, you know, pretty much random recipes. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it, unless there's anything else that people want to see from it.
That's awesome. So when you're adding, when you added that one recipe with the URL, is an API like parsing that website and
Yeah, that's
and giving
Zestful
it a-
API. So we can
Yeah.
actually go back to that. So, I mean, we can totally input our own stuff here.
Mhm.
And you know, we could make like a recipe for cereal, and for the let's see, for the steps, we could say add milk, add cereal, and so that'll show up there, and that would be code Platoon cereal. And we'll save that, and we can see we've got code Platoon cereal. We don't have an image because we didn't add it, but yeah, so it's just grabbing the URL and parsing through all that information. Then I just am displaying it
That's cool.
based on all that stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. Any other questions? No? All right. Thank you so much, Zach.
Mhm.
Who is next? Nicholas Smith.
It's
You ready?
me. I'm bringing the bar way back down. I also need to share my screen. So this is which screen am I sharing? We'll do this one. So this is a walkthrough of, here's all the things that I discovered that I was doing wrong as I started learning. So I have a basic controller. It's very simple. A couple drop downs for players and not players. So if you notice, I don't have a login page, and here's why. Because when I started doing authentication stuff, I was like, oh, let's try to incorporate Google authentication to it. So I pulled some stuff from Google and I got that working, but not displayed. And then as I was running out of time, I realized, you know what, just scrap all of that and go back to the basic default stuff where I can log in with email and password. But when I tried to incorporate that code, it conflicted with Google OAuth code. And I said, I don't have time to figure that out. Let's move on to something else. So that's on my to-do list. But the two databases I'm running, or at least the two CRUD operations, will be one for players, one for events. The add new player stuff is completely working. So I can add Adam. Do I have Adam in here already? No, I think I added Adam. So who haven't I added? We'll add Lily. And we'll just use and a random phone number. So I do have some code in here that's checking certain things. Random birth date. Lily likes Pokemon. So you can pick which type of games you play and then which ones you don't. This pops up if you're playing it or not. If it's a false, I'm supposed to have an alert that pops up, but I got stuck on why is my alert not popping up? The code's there, it seems to run, but I don't see the alert at all. So that's essentially saying you don't have a phone number input. So if I put in a phone number, and then I submit, it'll actually give me a true and success, which is good. The manage player, which would be where you would go to find a player, delete a player, update their information. None of that works right now. So my events, I can add an event to it, and all this is supposed to work. This function works, but my add players to event, which is essentially managing the events on its own, managing winners, show undistributed prizes, all stuff I'm going to build up to. The reason why I don't have the players and events working is because I need to incorporate an autocomplete function, which is just like the search bar that everybody else is using that I haven't figured out yet. And then I want to use a pick list, which is like two different lists, one full, one empty, and it shows the list of names, and you can like add players to the event. So I'm trying to incorporate that, and I spent 3 days trying to figure out why it wasn't displaying, and I never got it to display. So I still have a lot of work to do, but I'm learning every step of the way. And then it took me like a day and a half to remember how serializers work. So that's my presentation. I'm probably not going to have time to do a group project because I'm going to be working on this. So thank you for your time, and I hope, where's my stop share? All right, cool. We're done. Yeah.
What were the, first of all, you're doing good. Like the progress is good. What third-party APIs did you use,
So
or did you
the
not?
Google OAuth would have been one.
Sorry.
My other APIs, hold on, I gotta go back to all of my Zoom windows are now in the wrong spots. Okay, this one here. There. Just do this. The other two APIs I would have used, I was gonna incorporate a card search,
Mm.
which would have just linked to the Pokemon trading card API and the Magic the Gathering trading card API, so you could search by card name, and it would
Mhm.
show you a picture and description of the cards. But I figured the Google OAuth would have been one API because that's sort of its own call, but I didn't get that working either. So that's
Okay,
my plan at least.
sounds good. Thank you. Awesome. Corbin, you're up next.
All right. Let me share my screen. Can everybody see that?
Mhm.
Cool. All right, this is my app. It's Spoofify. It just runs off a Spotify API and the cover art archive API. So it actually shows the album cover. So here is the home page. We can go to info. It doesn't have much because it's just a join page and a create page, but I had to make this button for that. Go ahead and create a room. And here you can have control of people that join your room. They can have no control, or they can play and pause. We'll do play and pause. We'll go 3 votes and we'll create a room. And so now we have a room open. Let's join a room, and we'll take that code from the other one. Enter it. And that should work. So yeah, you can play it from, so this is the host page. And then if you go to the join page, they can also play and they can vote. It'll add to the counter. And if you vote to skip on the host page, it just skips it immediately to the next song and reset the counter. In settings, you can change the votes to skip. So you'll change it to 1, no control, update, got an alert saying it updated. Close that. And now I can't play or pause from the join screen, but I can skip.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, I can't pause it. But
There's
yeah,
only-
and with here, let me try something else. If I try to create a room without like have an account or anything, you'll have to sign in with your Spotify. It only you can only skip and play songs though if you have premium. So I couldn't find a way around that, but yeah. And then leave room.
Nice. Do both people have to sign in with Spotify accounts, or is it just the one person who sets up the room?
I think it's just the one person that sets up the room.
Awesome.
Yeah, because if you try to join, you can just join, but you do have to have premium to be able to have control. So I guess, yeah, you just have to have a Spotify account.
Awesome. This is super cool.
Thanks.
What were the what do your models look like?
Models were Spotify token. It had the
Mhm.
user and just the tokens for the API and votes, what user could vote and what song was going to be next and what room it was in,
Mhm.
and also the actual room for code host and all that.
Cool. And the cruding part is like creating and deleting room and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Any questions? No. Thank you so much, Corbin.
Thank you.
Luigi, you're up next.
All right. Let me just share my screen. And this one is my like own version of Yelp, I guess. I pretty much had the same predicament as Icarus. I spent so much time on research than is implementing stuff. Right now I just have the home login, not really working, but the most work I've done is the pick page. This one right here. This one will actually grab all the restaurants, well, not all, like 20 restaurants in your current vicinity, and will randomly pick one for you. And at the same time, I have the quotes quotes API also working in the background. The API I'm using over here is the Google search API, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. This looks cool. So how does it find your vicinity? Does it use like, what does it use?
It uses the, actually, here it is in my randomizer. Like it's actually very, very simple. I wish I found out about it like way earlier.
Mhm.
All I need to do is just go make a GET request to the Google API and just use the text search. Because at first I used the map, and then I wasn't. I had to actually get the longitude, latitude and longitude for it to actually work. So I switched to Yelp, but I was having an issue with Yelp also with just gathering actually just showing up the information. So I switched back to the Google, and I saw this text search, and all I need to do is just like just says restaurant near me, and that's pretty much it.
That's awesome.
So any location I go into, so it'll pretty much show what's the restaurants close by, and I'll just randomly pick one.
So maybe it takes the IP address or something like that to use it. That's cool.
Yes, it'll just get the IP address. But
cool. All right. Thank you so much. Who's up next? Joseph Barron?
Yes, I will start sharing my screen. Can everyone hear me well? Okay, awesome. I'm gonna have to open my system preferences and let Zoom give Zoom permission to share my screen. So this might take a second.
Okay.
Sorry about it.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so it looks like I'm gonna have to quit and reopen, so
Okay.
I'll disappear for a second and then jump right back in.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Awesome. So my project was called Salary Map. Basically, the idea was to give like service workers, people that work in restaurants, lower wage workers that are working in person somewhere, give them the ability to go to a website, type in maybe a new job they're looking for, or maybe they work for like McDonald's and they want to like switch jobs to a better paying like restaurant. So the idea is that they could come to Salary Map and type in their location and get a map of the salaries in that location. So I'll talk a little bit about how I implemented this, but I'll just show you what I have thus far. So here I'm just gonna sign up. I'm using a very strong password, so
Is it
it's just
password?
password.
Yeah.
So it looks like I may have already created a profile. So I'll use a different name. There. Awesome. So we are redirected to the login page. Something I would like to do different here is have a little indicator showing that the person was successfully signed up, because it's not, I think the user experience component could be improved, because just redirecting the user to a new page with no indication of whether their sign up was successful maybe isn't the best. So I would like some sort of indicator up here showing that they were successfully signed up. So basically, we have a map, and we're using the geolocation API, which is a web API, as you can see right here, to gain access to my location. So I am sitting a little bit west of downtown Chicago, west of the Illinois Medical District, in the Tri-Taylor neighborhood right now. So say I am looking for a job in the Chicago area. So let's say, what job could we do? Does anyone have any like job suggestions? Like
Starbucks barista.
Starbucks barista. Okay, let's try barista. Barista. And then my zip code is 60612. Then we'll go ahead and search. We get a little progress bar telling us to be patient.
What is the progress bar based off of?
Progress
how
bar
does it-
says,
Sorry.
I am using basically a protocol called WebSockets to
Mm.
communicate with the backend and send progress updates back to the front end for my get jobs function that is running on the back end.
Nice.
So basically this is a way of showing the user a real-time update of their search query.
Nice.
So it looks like the search query has returned. As you can see, we have some open positions over here on the side. And we did get something all the way in, it looks like around New York. So I'm still kind of still in the process of cleaning up some of the location filtering so that it's not going to return results several hundred miles from where you live. So that's something I'm still working on. But if we zoom into the Chicago area, we can see we have a few options. So looks like we have a host barista at Wildberry Pancakes and Cafe. We zoom in. So looks like right here, and then we have one at Macy's, then one at someplace called Cafecito. So as you can see, it looks like there's a duplicate here. I'm still working on the, like, there's a lot of data cleaning and filtering involved, and it's not entirely optimized, but you can kind of see how it works. We have a list of positions, and we can just look at what they're paying. So here, 924 to 1250, 15 to 16. And again, some of these aren't officially barista positions, but a lot of them are. There's a lot of, as I said before, kind of filtering down the search results. I'm probably running a little long on time, but I'll talk quickly about kind of how I did this. So basically it's a web scraping that I'm querying all of these jobs. I'm querying from the Indeed website, Indeed job website. So let's say if we wanted to, Cafecito, if we wanted to select this job, we could hit apply and just, it would take us to the job posting. So basically I'm just web scraping the jobs from Indeed. But companies don't like you doing this. So I went through a process of trying to use APIs to scrape. They weren't consistent enough. They were just too slow, even slower than my current process. But I basically settled on a browser testing tool called Selenium, which I'm using to basically open a web page at the Indeed website, and then I'm using a package called Beautiful Soup, which is a Python package for web scraping, and I'm basically filtering down all of the search results. I think in the future I would like to implement some have some like concurrency going, so that multiple pages are being queried and filtered simultaneously, because right now it's just it's like a for loop where everything is happening one after the other. I'm not taking advantage of any kind of concurrent abilities that Python has. So yeah, just do that, and then obviously put it on AWS, and there's a bunch of styling stuff that I have to work on. But yeah, the APIs I used the Google Maps API. Yeah, I'm probably way over time, but yeah, that's what I did.
Awesome. What about your like, which resources are you crediting for this, or what are you using for your models on the back end?
So right now I'm just using basically the default Django user model.
Mhm.
I'll probably have to add in some more stuff to pass the project requirements for that. I don't know if my current project fulfills some of that, but I could easily just add like a user profile with some maybe like recent searches.
Mhm.
So
Okay,
yeah,
awesome. Thank you so much.
yeah.
Izzy, you're next.
Everyone, can you guys hear me?
Mhm.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
My app is called CryptoCat. It's a source for crypto news, coin stats, and cryptocurrency tracking. The user will be able to log in and log out and see price and news after the login. I use two API for this project. The coin ranking will give me the list and price of and stats of cryptos, and I use Bing search for the news. Or the user will be also will be able to add certain crypto to the favorites. Right? When you come on the website, you can sign up by providing the user an email and password. Let's try that. I don't think I created that one yet. And, when you sign up, you say you can sign in now. I mean, it look kind of like weird. I rather have like an alert somehow, but this is what I come up with. So, yeah, I can sign in now. Put this out. And when you come on the website, you can see the cryptocurrency statistic. Those are up to date. Those are all the cryptocurrency that we have in the world. And this is the total market cap of cryptocurrency. And you will see a list of the 10 top crypto in the world. And when you click on show more, you will be able to see all the remaining cryptocurrency, right? And you will be able to add them to favorite. Let's say that I add this one, go down here, this one. So those three, you can see them in my favorite page. And you can remove them if you don't want them anymore. Right? And I also have like news, and those are the top 5 crypto news right now. When you click on each of them, it will take you to the web page so you can read the news article. When you click on show more, you'll be able to see all the remaining news about cryptocurrency, and you can filter them. Let's say that you just want news about Bitcoins. It will only give you news about Bitcoins. Let's say that you decide to go on BNB, we only give you news about BNB. So I think that's all. My sign up page will. Oh yeah, the portfolio one, I'm still building it. I want it to. I want the user to be able to select whatever cryptocurrency they have in their on the exchange, and they will be able to select it, add it, and then put the number of that specific cryptocurrency that they have on the exchange. I'm still working on it, but and then you can sign out. It will take you back to the login page. I think that's all I have.
That's awesome. I like it's very clean. Seems very super easy to use.
Okay.
Awesome. Any questions, anyone? All right.
So I'll stop
Thank
sharing
you.
now.
Let's take a little break. 10 minutes. Let's come back at 9:50 and resume.